Who are you really afraid of?
I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me.
Prestige Living Podcast. So with that, who do you want to be?
Hello, welcome to Prestige Living. This is Jay O'Brien with another segment of Be Bold. It's no secret, and perhaps it's becoming more and more apparent. It's definitely being talked about more, but we live in a very dangerous world. I personally haven't watched the news in maybe 15 years or so, unless you count 60-minute specials, but I refuse to do so just because of the constant negative exposure to things that I frankly don't need to ingest on a regular basis. But regardless, it's there. It's in your face, it's on Facebook, it's blatantly advertised and overly exposed how bad we are as human beings to one another. Shootings here, bombings there, don't travel, don't leave your house. It's crazy. Did you know that on average, 44 people are murdered in the United States every single day? 44. Last month, I was in London and told the cab driver I was from California, and then I asked him if he'd ever been, and he was shocked that I even asked and quickly responded with no and explained how he would never visit California because of how dangerous it is. How crazy is that? We live in fear. We're scared because of how cruel we are to one another, and maybe rightfully so. So we're naturally in defense mode more than anything else. Physically making sure we're equipped to ward off threatening people with weapons, or maybe just prevent any possible conversation with a stranger by not opening our front door, not saying hi on the streets, or maybe just not allowing ourselves to be vulnerable at all. And it's true, it can be scary out there. But it's also a very crippling viewpoint that is often exaggerated. But yeah, no matter how you slice it, 44 human lives a day are being taken by another human being. And that's terrifying, sure. But perhaps what's more terrifying and far more alarming are the amount of deaths that occur on a daily basis that are controlled solely by the victim themselves. On average, in the United States, there are 117 suicides a day. That's more than 2.5 times the murder rate, which leads one to believe we ourselves are more than twice as dangerous as the people we fear. So instead of physically being defensive, we've grown far too comfortable, or uncomfortable for that matter, in our routine of being defensive mentally. We're psychologically very, very defensive, and the fear is even more crippling. We think people are constantly judging us, conspiring against us. We aren't good enough compared to the people we admire. Maybe we go so far as to say we're worthless in certain capacities, or not worthy of receiving greater opportunities, better quality of life, or love from the people we care about. And every time we feel a spark of aspiration within us, we almost instantly hear a demon convince us of all the reasons it won't work out and all of the potential things that can or will go wrong. And geez, how many times do we listen to that voice and believe those words as truth? How many times have you not followed through on something you said you were going to? How many times have you diluted a goal because you'd be too embarrassed if you didn't reach the original one? And how many times have you not tried your hardest because if you did try that hard and didn't succeed, well, then you'd be a failure? It's much easier to say we didn't try because it protects us as an excuse as to why we didn't obtain the result. Well, true progress can only be measured by the amount of times you've persevered. And guess what? Failure is inevitable for any type of growth. And once you fully understand that and fully accept that, your fear will begin to dissipate, as it's a tool for advancement, not a feeling of regression. And those people, quote, judging you will be watching you pass them by from the sidelines. 44 murders, 117 suicides. So who are you really afraid of? Be bold.
If you would like to be on the Prestige Living podcast or know someone that would be a great guest, go to www.prestigelivingpodcast.com. We'd love to hear your story.